All right, welcome back. Episode 11, Youngzers. Pod's in shambles, honestly. Um, not good, not good, not good. Three not goods out of five not goods. Steelers drop a big one today. Uh, Pitt Panthers drop a big one last night. We were in attendance. Uh, how you feeling, boys?
And to continue on, they say these things, happen in threes. Um, I'm probably gonna lose to Rio in fantasy this week. It's like we said, it's a bad day. It's a sad day. The city of Pittsburgh is just, I think it's the city is in shambles. I'll be honest. And the Pitt game, with three of the four of us were down there yesterday. They laid an egg against Georgia Tech, and I think I can pinpoint on the day where I knew like Pitt was not going to win. We were out down at Tequila Cowboy, going out before the game, live music going on. This guy's like, "All right, I got some Skinner coming on." I'm like, "All right." Proceeds to play the Ballad of Curtis Lowe. That's just what are you doing? It's generic. You got Sweet Home Alabama, you got Freebird. Even that smell would be better. He
Give me
goes,
three steps.
"Give me three steps."
Yeah.
Give me back my bullets. It picks Ballad of Curtis Lowe. Killed the vibe in there. Absolutely, that's when I knew. I was like, all right, it's over. It's over tonight. Just the vibes weren't there. The vibes aren't here today. City of Pittsburgh, Acrishore's jinxed. I'll say it right now.
Yeah, Robert's thoughts.
Mm, that's one of the worst weekends in Pittsburgh sports I've seen in a while.
Yeah,
Somebody's mic echoing?
Yeah, we're getting an echo. Is that off of me?
maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think it's good now.
You were now. You're good now.
Yeah, we're good.
But
We're good.
All right.
I can confidently say the two offensive coordinators for Pitt and the Steelers are maybe having a pissing battle to see who's worse right now.
It's a
Frank
comp.
Cignetti
Yeah.
is horrendous. We run from under center in the 21st century. It's
It's a tough.
I don't know. And not to mention the Steelers just lost to a guy that hasn't played a snap of full football in 7 weeks.
We lost to
So-
a team that has Joe Flacco on their sideline.
That is it's a bad time. It's a bad
It's a bad
time.
time. It's a bad time. It's a sad time. Like everyone said, I think that's going to be the quote of the pod. Pitt, they had an excuse for the first half, but it was raining, so I was like, all right, I'll give him a pass. Like Slovis throwing the ball. We'll get into this later. I don't want to jump ahead, but second half, I mean, the weather was fine. But he still couldn't throw the ball, and the
Our dudes are
passing game was
horrible, man.
horrible. Yeah. All right, so Dan, what's up? Didn't get much out of you yet. How's it going?
I'm going. Hanging in there. I am currently at this very moment 14 hours and 51 minutes deep into a 24-hour stream from hitting affiliate a couple weeks ago. I'm tired. I'm running on 4 hours of sleep. I didn't watch much of the Steeler game. Caught some highlights, and
It's for the best.
yeah, I really didn't. Yeah, so when we get into it, I'll get more into it. But I knew this team could be 0-4 right now, or they could be 4-0. You know what I mean? It's one of those, and you got a tough stretch coming up. It's not going to be good. They'll be lucky to win 5 games. I'll start there.
Yeah, I'm taking. I was thinking this. I said this earlier. That 8-game over/under. I think's looking pretty good.
Oh,
They've
yeah.
lost. They've lost all the games they should have won. The New
Yes.
England game and the New York Jet game. Those are 2 games that if you're an 8-8 team, you're not losing those games.
And
And it's the same storyline that we've got in the past couple games. Expectations were a little bit higher after the Cincinnati game, but I mean, we've hit the floor. I think we're at rock bottom as Steelers fans right now. I've never felt this before.
You'll get used to it, bud. You know what I mean? It's going to be a long road.
you know who's definitely at rock bottom in Pittsburgh right now, though? Mitch Trubisky.
He looked pissed.
I thought, yeah, well, he looked pissed, and he has literally no reason to be pissed off at anyone other than himself. If you saw the post-game press conference, He's pretty evident he was upset about Mike Tomlin pulling him. Very short answers, was not happy. And as I said on Twitter, the simple solution is just be better. You did nothing today. His pocket awareness, 0. We talked about how he's a game manager. He can't manage the game. It's a 3 and out every time. He just don't have it. Like Ryan said, he don't got the twig and berries. Kenny Pickett came in the game today, and big day for Pitt fans. Congratulations, Roberts and Dan, actually, both Pitt fans. But he's making plays. Stood in the pocket, didn't get sacked one time, used his legs for a first down. I think his best throws when he stood in the pocket got absolutely smacked right up the middle by, I think it's Quinnen Williams. Hit Freiermuth right down the seam. Next was a couple plays later, he's running the touchdown. That's the kind of guy. Got some moxie. He got that it factor. We were talking about this before we started, recording. All these people, he threw 3 interceptions. 2 of them hit right off his receiver's hands and were deflections. The one that was probably on him was the one that he threw to the outside, but it hit off Pat Freiermuth's hands. What are you going to do? The third one was a Hail Mary in the end zone. It's not like he was making bad throws. Those are his only 3 incompletions. Like he looked the part. He looked confident. That's the kind of guy, okay, you start building off that. And Mitch Trubisky, for being an experienced veteran, like are you really like that clueless where you're going to be pissed off where that happens? Like, you played like crap. You look like crap. Your awareness is crap. You're not keeping the Steelers in the game. Like, what do you expect? You're not entitled to anything. You won a Nickelodeon award. That don't mean much in the NFL, buddy. I'll say it. Yeah, what's he done to have a long leash in the NFL? Backed up Josh Allen last year. Big whoop. He didn't learn anything from him, evidently. The vibes are down here, but I'm going to bring the anger up a little bit. I'm going to let it flow. The guy stinks. Grade A stinks. Kenny Pickett time.
Dan Roberts.
We got that echo again.
I have no clue who it is.
Mutz, can you hear the echo?
No.
Now it's gone. Okay, so if you can't hear the echo, 9 times out of 10 it comes from you. I'm just saying.
Wow, shots fired.
I'm just saying. Well, it's hard. It's hard to try and get a thought out. But no, you're absolutely right. It's tough because you don't want to force Mike Tomlin into pulling Mitch at this time of the season, because now you really can't go back to him. You know what I mean? You can't go back to Mitch, because then you're gonna keep the whole carousel going. Well, go to Mitch, and then you're gonna go to Kenny, then you're gonna go to Mitch, and nobody's gonna have a leash. Everyone's gonna play scared then. So what do? You just leave Kenny in there now because your season's done. Your season's over.
No,
okay, you're not. Yeah, you're not making the playoffs. At most, you're gonna win 4 more games. So now it's trial by fire for Kenny, if you ask me, and it's not gonna be pretty, because you got the Bills, Bucks, Dolphins, and Eagles the next 4 games. I might have the Eagles and the Dolphins mixed up. It might be Eagles and Dolphins, but regardless, that's your next 4 games. Those are all playoff teams right there.
Yeah,
and you're gonna see if Kenny has the moxie, which I think he does, but he's not the answer right now. You know what I mean? You're gonna have those first year rookie jitters. You're going to have those growing pains. You're going to have those brain farts. You can't fault him for balls deflecting off your receiver's hands and going to the defense. You can't fault him at all. They're good passes, whatever. That's why they teach tip drill. I mean, if that was your defense making those plays, you'd love it, because they teach tip drill. So you can't blame Kenny for that. But getting in there, running two in, you score 2 rushing touchdowns, right? So I mean, but it's tough because I kind of saw it going this way, and it stinks because you don't get excited. For me, I'm not excited to watch Steelers football because I know what it's going to be. Am I a fair weather fan for that? I don't think so.
No.
But it's not what I grew up with, and it's not what we've had for 18, 20 plus years, and it sucks, and it's going to be that way for a while.
This is like the first time in any of our lives, because we're all pretty close in age, where like we're seeing a Steelers an actual like rebuild year. Like, we started watching with Cordell Stewart, Tommy Maddox. Tommy Maddox was like the first quarterback. I was like, all right, following football along, elementary school. And then it was Ben Roethlisberger, and they put him in. There was no rebuilding year. It's been, competitive football for, the majority of our lives. Now it's all right. The team stinks. Like, there's no if, ands, buts about it. They stink. Kenny Pickett came in. That place was going nuts. It looked like Tomlin said he wanted a spark. They got a spark. Offensively, they looked fine under Kenny Pickett. Him and George Pickens had a great connection. Pickens was over 100 yards today. I think he finished 6 catches, 102 yards. He brought that spark. The running game, the team was energized. Defensively up until the fourth quarter, those last 2 drives where they just crap the bed. That team had spark. There was energy there on the field, off the field. That's something you didn't have with Mitch Trubisky. He's not someone that will get the team fired up. He's not, he's not that guy. And you hoped he would be the game manager, keep the offense on the field. Couldn't do that. If you're there and that's your job and you can't do it, take a back seat, because it's Pickett time. And at this rate, wouldn't be shocked to see maybe Mason Rudolph dress later on in the season at that point. But it's definitely Kenny Pickett's team now, I think. He had the energy, had the spark. He didn't look out of place. And like Dan said, there's going to be growing pains with a rookie. Get him out of the way this year. Start building up next year. You're going to have probably a top 10 pick easily.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, we'll see. I mean, that's the moral of the story. Defense didn't do its job in the fourth quarter. Kenny Pickett's in. That's the storyline now.
All right. I haven't had my 2 cents in on Mitch Trubisky yet. Had to crack the old knuckles. But, Mitch, if somehow, some way this gets in your ear, I'm doubling down on my comment. No twig, no berries. And I'm adding a new one. Mitch, it ain't sweet, buddy. All right? We don't know you, Johnny Squat, a.k.a. Jack Shit. If you want to play in the NFL, you can't go out there like a wet blanket and go 3 and out 3 times in a row and have a drive where it starts off 1st and 10 and it ends up what, 4th and 25? Yeah, I'm sorry, but it was bad a couple weeks ago and it's just gotten worse. And the fans aren't behind them. And I'm also stating that it could be an internal like coup. I'm thinking the line was just like throwing. And I think they wanted Kenny too. They looked a lot better after Kenny came in. I don't know if anyone else saw that, but
I mean,
I think
he wasn't sacked one time, so
no. And I mean, I like the guy. I wish he would succeed, but also if you think that you're owed something, I guess in the NFL at that level, this ain't the Turkey Bowl, big fella. Like you're not guaranteed a roster spot. I'm sorry, you're not guaranteed looks. But I don't know. I think what Dan said's true. It's just the expectations are low. Get Kenny his reps this season. Get a good draft pick. Hopefully we don't pick another receiver in the first round. Go after
lineman.
lineman, yeah. I don't know what else. Maybe cornerback, but I'm thinking lineman.
No, they
Has
can't
to be a
they can't
lineman.
draft
Yeah.
corners.
Yeah.
Go with a stud lineman. Honestly, you get a
Right.
top 10 pick. Yeah, go with lineman.
But I'm thinking Mitch could be on the trading block, possibly. New England. Hoyer just went down. Mac Jones is out for a couple weeks.
No, I don't think. I mean, he's owed $2 million. You're not going to pay Mitch Trubisky. I mean, he's not doing anything in Pittsburgh. He's not going to do anything anywhere else. He shows up on Thanksgiving to the Turkey Bowl at any high school field. I bet you he's not even starting in a Turkey Bowl. No confidence in that man.
It is a real shame though, because we did go out and get him, and he did deserve a chance. I feel, but I think he blew it. I think he blew it. He lost 2 games for us.
Exactly. You
Those
have
2 games that are.
It's not all sparkles and rainbows. The leash is off. You're in the doghouse. Kenny's running around the yard now.
Like it's just I saw it today, like on Twitter, like after the game and everything. Like Deontay said that the team just wants to win for Kenny because it looks like Kenny came up to him, everybody, you know what I mean, and said like, "Hey, don't worry, we'll get him next drive." You know what I mean? You'd never see Mitch like tap him on the helmet and say that's my bad or anything. You know what I mean? Like it's just I think Kenny has like I'm not gonna say he has the it factor, but like he has the swagger to like
Oh yeah.
talk back to players. Like he stood over Quinn Williams like Tyronn Lue. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
stop that. You know what I mean? Like
It's called being a leader. That's a
yeah,
leader.
like it's just I think he's just way more confident in himself than Mitch is.
Oh,
I think
absolutely.
like it's just people and like you said like open the show like if I see another like slander, it's normally in like I get it. It's Penn State and West Virginia fans that hate that he went to Pitt. That's mostly what
I
it
want to
is.
see him do all right. I want to see him do great.
That's-
I'm a Steeler fan. I'm not.
But no,
If
I'm
you're
just
a
saying though.
Pitt
That's
player, I don't
mostly yeah.
care.
But that's mostly what it is though. If you look on Twitter, it's just mostly people hating on the guy because of where he went to college. And it's
Well, any Penn State fan that's probably trashing Pickett is probably Central PA, so that means they're an Eagles fan, which means they're probably from Philly, so they're pretty much right up there with Cleveland people.
They're
on some of
trash.
the earth.
Yeah.
But Roberts, I think you're completely right. And also, a second thought I have is why should the offense get behind a guy like Mitch when he's basically like why invest in a relationship with a guy that's only going to be there like a year and they're not stupid. They're probably even thinking, "Hey, Kenny could come in at any moment, so why get behind this guy? Why build like a relationship with him? You know, why like I don't know. I just is that another way to look at it, you think?
Yeah. I mean, Mitch, you're a rebound girlfriend.
He ain't going to be there that long. Like
Franchise never loved him. He got to know that. He got to know that. Yeah, and like Robert said, he's trash talking out there. Pickett gets absolutely drilled, makes that throw. He's getting up, laughing at the guy, just talking smack to him. I'm like, all right. You see Trubisky get sacked. He's like, oh, nice sack, sir. May I have another? Like, there's nothing there with him. There's no spark. You don't got it. He's a second overall pick. Doesn't have it.
he's
And
got that.
I don't want to say, it's a direct result of where he went to college, but I'm going to say it's a direct result of where he went to college. No, that's all. I'm going to leave it at that. I'm going to leave it at that.
You can see it in his eyes too. He's got that 1,000-yard stare, and it just doesn't look like he knows what's going on.
I have 3 points real quick. I
Ram.
don't think thanks for the hearts. I don't think the city of Pittsburgh nor the Steelers organization gave him a fair shake in my eyes. It is what it is. I'm glad we didn't trade Mason Rudolph. And third, I think Mason shows you how to be a mature person when it comes to adversity. And if Mitch would have taken it on the chin like Mason did, you could give him more props. You could give him, more credit, but you can't because he wanted to be a whiner about it, like he's owed something. If anybody in that locker room or in that quarterback room is owed something, it's Mason Rudolph. It's not Mitch Trubisky.
Hey,
And Mason had everything just swept out from underneath him, but took it like a professional. So to me, give more props to Mason, and I wouldn't be surprised if he's dressing. I wouldn't be surprised next week. Depth chart: Kenny 1, Mason 2. I would not be surprised.
Tomlin will never do it, but I wouldn't. That wouldn't.
It's just like-
I think it's the right move. Like the prime example. Someone put up a video on Twitter. Kenny scores his touchdown. Everyone's like, going nuts on the sidelines. Guess who's there? Just head down, moping around by himself. Mitch Trubisky. He was pissed he got pulled. Kenny comes in, scores a touchdown. He's still moping on the sidelines. Like Ryan said, why would a team want to, get invested? That's not going to bring the energy to the team. You go over there, you see your quarterback moping around. Like, no, that was your job. You didn't perform well. You're gone. Support the rookie. And it's easier said than done because that's a very tough, that's a tough position to be in if you're Trubisky. But at the bare minimum, you can't be pouting on the sidelines. That's just a bad look in general.
yeah,
So-
flag football.
No, and here's the other thing. Like when it comes down to it, like you guys keep saying, he's not owed anything, and I understand that. But you're there. It's not an individual sport, right? It's a team sport. I don't care if it's football, if it's basketball, if it's baseball. There's multiple people. It's not individual. If it's hockey, you got to be happy for your team, or it just shows what kind of character you have. And like, I'd rather play with 10 guys on the field with Kenny Pickett's character, Mason Rudolph's character, than have 11 of Mitch Trubisky's, because it just shows that he's not there for the team.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think, he realizes the writing's on the wall. I'm sure, he signs with Pittsburgh. He thinks he get a fair shake. Kenny Pickett, drops to 20. There was talk he'd be going before that. Put the Steelers in that position. And, hey, now the Steelers, it's the shiny new car in the garage. And Mitch, you're that beat up old truck where, you may be able to run a little bit, but you're going to be out there in the scrapyard soon enough. So, it's like we said, Pickett's time. And sad week for Pittsburgh sports in general, especially the Steelers. And, for me, some certain former other Steeler athlete. Tough weekend for Mr. Big Chest himself.
Before we get into that real quick,
Oh.
I have to ask, do you think, since Mike Tomlin's so old school and so thick-headed and so bullheaded, that he won't go to Kenny next week?
No.
I'm thinking there's a shot there that Mitch starts next week. Yeah.
Right? Because he's so old school, right? He's done everything so freaking old school that he might not just turn the reins over to the young kid. And it's not right, because that's not going to give you your best chance to win. But just him being him, I got to ask you guys that.
I don't know how you. Sorry, Ryan, you go.
I say I could see it go either way. I think it's just an unpredictable scenario that we won't know the answer until we have probably we'll see it in a press conference during practice this week. And if he could go and just say, "Oh, we needed a spark," so I put Kenny in. We're going back to Mitch, but I like you said, I think he's old school, and I think he's just go back to Mitch.
Mm-hmm.
But they play Buffalo next week, so
yeah.
I'm thinking, why throw Kenny out against Buffalo too? That could be bad. Get bad quickly. Rookie quarterback against a contender. I don't know.
Listen, you're a coach. It's what players do you put on the field that will give your team the best chance to compete and the best chance to win? And today, it's Kenny Pickett. The rest of the season, it's going to be Kenny Pickett. And there's, the main reason where I say, you got to go with Pickett. 2 touchdowns in the second half. The 3 interceptions, 2 of them you can't fault him. One was on a Hail Mary. You take those. I'm not putting any stock into those interceptions. But you look at the whole first half and how the Steelers defense, and we talk about this, the past 3 weeks, the offense can't stay on the field. And by the end of the game, the defense is absolutely gassed. The second half, the Steelers offense was out there way more than it was in the first half, and it was scoring. That's what you got to do. That's the quarterback you need. It does not only helps the offense, it helps the defense. The offense stays on the field. Defense will be fresher by the end of the game than they normally are when Mitch is starting. There's a lot of reasons why, but that's the main one for me. It benefits both sides of the ball if Kenny Pickett's in the game. End of story.
Roberts.
I think also I think we're putting a lot of stock into this defense right now, but don't get me wrong, they're not good. They're not what we thought they were week 1 when, we forced 5 turnovers, made Joe Burrow look like a rookie. It's going to be tough because you saw today Cam Hayward looked like it wasn't cramps, it was something else. Minka, he's always dinged up, but he'll play. But you lose those 2,
and they're not the same
think,
defense without TJ.
No.
Yeah, it's a below average defense if TJ Watt's not playing. I mean, there's a reason he's defensive player of the year. There's a reason he's one of the highest paid people in the league. He's an absolute game changer. And you take a guy like that off the Steelers defense, they're just an average, below average unit. That's what it comes down to.
And they were even commentating on today. I changed the NFL Network when I was watching it, and they were talking about when the crowd got into it and everything. You saw Devin Bush flying around. That's what you should be watching that 4 quarters, not just 2 series where you want to play. It's just, I don't know. I think it's going to be a bad time here for Pittsburgh fans, and I've been trying to tell everybody that it's not going to be pretty. It's going to be below average for a while, and sit back and it's gonna take time.
Yeah, gotta be patient now. I mean, the Pirates are never competitive. The Steelers aren't gonna be competitive this year. It's up to the Penguins. Hockey season starts soon, so never thought I'd see a time where the Penguins might take over, the city's interest over the Steelers during football season. But we might be closing in on that pretty soon if things don't change, which I don't think they will.
I just had a conversation the other day though. It's like you have, I mean, I know you don't really want to touch on the Penguins yet, but how many good more years of that trio? Like maybe one. This is their final ride. Like it's
Yeah.
you're people got to grasp that like the reality, and I don't think people really are. And
So yeah, the sun's setting on Pittsburgh's sports success for two of their three teams, and when that happens, it's going to be not a good few years until hopefully they become competitive again. So yeah, it's dark. Pittsburgh's entering a dark time right now.
It's been nighttime at PNC for about 50 years now.
But here's
Sun
the
ain't
other thing
coming up
though.
there.
They're kind of both teams are kind of in purgatory. They're just in the middle of the pack of both their leagues. You know what I mean? They have been for years. How much further down can they go?
And
I mean,
You know
they could ask some advice from Bob Nutting and the Pirates to see how bad rock bottom feels.
You're right.
I
mean,
think
go ahead.
I don't think the Steelers, like I really do think this is gonna be the worst we're gonna see. I think so. I mean, I don't think it could get much worse. We just lost to the Jets. I don't think this season is the worst. This season is the worst we're gonna see in a while.
But what's gonna make next year any different? Honestly,
no Mitch
Defense
Trubisky.
is full. Yeah. Are we losing anyone on defense? Anyone's contracts? Maybe
they're a
Evans?
year older.
Yeah.
Hayward's gonna be
Hayward.
older,
Has a
but
good
then
year or two left in him.
Tyson Alualu, he's gonna retire. He's not
35,
he's
yeah.
not
He ain't done
old
much
or
this
he's
year,
not
though.
young. But so that's the thing. You might think next year, the grass is greener next year, but I don't see it. I don't see them being competitive for 3-4 years, honestly. And that's my thought about it, because they're not the franchise or organization that's going to go out and make the big splashes in free agency. They're not going to make the big signings. They're not going to, they'll draft well in certain areas, but then they'll miss in other areas. But they're not going to go make trades and big free agent signings. So they're just going to be And it could be what you say. This is the worst it's going to be, but what if it's just the same next year? I think that's just I think that's worse. When you start a pattern of just being bad, I think the longer it goes, the worse it gets, and the worse off it is for us as fans.
No, I do think this year's the worst. I agree with Ryan. I think next year, Kenny starts. The defense, like I said, is another year older, but they have some of those young guys, DeMarvin Leal. He can come in, fill in, plays. He's been playing well this year. Offensively, I think the two biggest things aside from quarterback are you've got to draft well, and through free agency, you've got to do something about the offensive line, and then you got to get rid of Matt Canada. I think those are the two big things holding the offense back, and I think a lot of the defense's problem is just to being out on the field too much and being old. Yeah, which you can solve that by having a competent offense. So, I think this will probably be the worst year, like Ryan said, but I'd imagine next year will be better.
I think it's all going to hinge on the offseason, though. And I want to see how the rest of the season pans out before we say this is the worst. I'm not saying we're going to turn around and win out, but I want to see how things shake out, how bad things really are, and then we'll make, we'll talk about it then. But I do think it's going to be the worst.
So here's another question. I like asking you guys questions, kind of give Ryan a little break here. So if they go, let's say they win 5 games, because that's all I think that they're going to win this year.
Yeah.
Let's say 6. So they go 6-11, right? Next year they go 7-10. Is Mike Tomlin's seat warm or is it hot?
No.
You don't think so at all?
No. I'm not going to say he's I'm not saying he's unfireable, because that's everybody's but I just people look at him like he's a player's coach. he could turn it around eventually, but look at his playoff record. Like, it's not. What do you win? You're winning a participation trophy. That's basically what it is. Like, but people think they look at his record and like, oh, he's hasn't had a losing season. You know what I mean? It's just, I don't think he's gonna be a Pittsburgh Steelers head coach for a while.
You know who I think a really good comparison Mike Tomlin is to like the college level, James Franklin. He's a player's coach. He talks the talk. They both players love playing for him. Franklin can recruit. Tomlin, same thing. But when it comes down to the game day and making some of these decisions, they don't have the track record there.
Yeah.
I mean, James Franklin can't get those big wins against Michigan, Ohio State. Tomlin gets into the playoffs, lays an egg most of the time. I think that's a pretty fair comparison. I don't know if you guys disagree with that, but in terms of the coaching style, yeah, I think that's a comparison. And I'm a Penn State guy, so James Franklin, I like him as a coach, but because he can bring the talent in there, that's evident. But I wish he'd be a better game day coach. I guess that's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, that's really what it boils down to. And I think that Tomlin, you'll never hear the words Mike Tomlin has been fired from the Pittsburgh Steelers. The only way you're going to hear something like that is if they mutually part ways or he just retires. There's no way that
Leechburg.
Yeah, there's no way they'd ever fire him. I just think it's too proud of an organization, and we treat our coaches too well, and just the history behind all that, especially with how many franchise coaches? 4.
They've had 3 in the last 60 years.
Yeah. Chuck Noll, Bill Cowher,
Mike Tomlin.
I just don't see them going that direction.
So, do you think it's because of all his early success? Let's say he didn't win that Super Bowl in his third year, whatever it was. Do you think people would be riding so high on him if he didn't have? But he doesn't have playoff success, and that's like the big thing. That's huge.
People are used to that. Like, that's the Steeler way. Like, he's the Steelers. They don't. Coaching turnover just doesn't happen with the Steelers, and I think that's just a mentality thing from like Steeler fans in the city, where unless you're really screwing up, or if you're doing something where you're gonna get fired, like behind the scenes. Yeah, like Urban Meyer, you got some women grinding on you in a bar. Well, you're married and you're a head coach in the NFL. That's the tough scene. I don't want to, that's the Ohio State way. The Steeler way is you find a good to keep with them. I don't want to get into the roast of Urban Meyer right now. That's a little farther down my list.
I just have one more thing to add here about the Steelers before I'm done with them. But I was asking my dad today and everything. Do you in the off season maybe look at trading a guy like Chase Claypool? If you see a guy like George Pickens step up and become, you know what I mean? Like Freiermuth got a lot of looks today.
Mm-hmm.
Like the tight end we're normally used to. I think from what it looks like is I think Claypool's going to be the odd man out. You know what I mean? Deontay's going to get his. I think he's a great route runner. And George looks like that, you know what I mean, that big target guy that you know what I mean? Like, I just don't think.
Like, you want, like, if you have Chase Claypool, he's a wide receiver 3, why trade him? Like, that's a position of, unless you're trading from a position of strength to get something that's a position of need, I don't think.
That's what I mean. Like, that's.
Isn't he on is he under contract next year?
Yeah, he's on his rookie deal.
Yeah, okay.
And, like, you heard his name floating around with everybody trying to buy into the Aaron Rodgers hype. You know what I mean? Like, he's. I don't know. That's something for another podcast later down the road when we talk off season, but
it wouldn't. But his value's not high right now either.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
You'd be selling very low,
Yes. And what are you going to get back? Maybe you'd end up getting a pick back. You wouldn't even get a player back. You know what I mean? And what are you going to get? A mid-round, 3rd, 4th rounder?
Not even. I bet you it'd be like a 4th, 5th.
Yeah. So
not
like Mott said, it's you're selling a position of strength, and you're really not even going to get something back of need.
Yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, though, there, Ryan. Honestly, I do. But you're just not going to get back what you need right now, to to make an impact.
Yeah, it wouldn't make the team better at the end of the day. His value being pretty low. But before Brian, you go. Sorry.
I was gonna say it's easy to jump to a conclusion like that, especially after a game. Today was a weird game. The offense didn't look good at all, really, for the most part. And especially when you transition from one quarterback to the next, we didn't really get to see Kenny too much. So I just don't think him and Chase have that good a chemistry yet. And a guy like Chase Claypool, I think you want to keep him a little while at least. It's too early to just ship him off already. And especially an athlete like that, a big target that can go up and grab the ball. It's kind of hard to come by, I guess. So, I mean, keep him around at least for, I guess, a couple more years, I'd say.
But he's the guy who's supposed to come down with that ball, but
Exactly,
got out-muscled for that ball.
A 5'8" defensive back.
Probably pick guy, though.
Yeah.
Probably pick guy, though. Jordan Whitehead.
I don't know what he was doing. He came towards the ball and tried catching it with his chest. When you're 6'4", just go up.
Yeah.
You got the hands. Like you got the height, you got the advantage. I just don't think he knows how to use his body. Makes sense?
Yeah.
You high point the ball. You know, even if you got to come back for the ball, you can still high point it. You know what I mean? But
yeah, he looks awkward, like making pitches. Yeah.
Like Dylan Romanu trying to run up and down the hardwood.
I just like they say he was like training with Brandon Marshall.
That's
like,
wrong.
Where's that at? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
All
I
like
wasn't
off
seeing much
season.
from him. He was very quiet today. I mean, you can't be much more quiet than he was today, honestly.
Yeah. No, I got two final thoughts on the Steelers. The one, we had our family from Alaska was visiting the past couple weeks, and one of our Alaskan correspondents, I'm not going to name him, he said before the game today, I saw something last week in the game nobody else saw. Steelers are going to beat the Jets this week. I need to, I put him on the hot seat. I'm like, you're going to hear about this tonight because the Steelers stink. I don't know what you were watching, what you saw. It just wasn't there. Tough look for the Alaskan correspondent. But the other point I wanted to make, biggest jackass on the team right now for the Steelers. I shouldn't say jackass, but Gunnar Olszewski. He ain't it. He can't field a punt. He's fumbling. Got absolutely demolished on an end around today. Looked like they need a spatula to scrape him off the field grass. I mean, what value is he bringing? He's supposed to be this elite special teamer. He's fumbling. He's not fielding punts when he should. Field position's worse. What's he doing on the field? I could see when Calvin Austin comes off the IR, they waive him. What value does he bring the team right now? I don't know.
They love their elite special teamers. Him and Derek Watt both, huh?
Oh, right.
It's just a waste.
That's what I was going to say today. I was like, I need to mention this later. Good thing you mentioned Derek Watt. The one play he got in, he absolutely whiffed on his lead block. He could have got Najee like an extra, probably 3-4 yards, maybe 5. I don't know. But he put his head down and he launched. Do you ever go to the zoo and you see the sea lions going around the tank?
Yeah.
He was all porpoised up. His arms and his neck was in, and he ain't come close. He whiffed. He looked like that bullet from Mario that comes flying.
Bullet Bill.
Yeah, he just whiffed. I was like, "What's going on?" You come in for one play. If I'm in for one play, I'm getting my dirty jersey my jersey as dirty as possible.
I'm taking someone's head off.
I'm taking runs. I'm taking liberties.
Yeah.
I'm going for the knees.
Tearing some shit.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing, though. Maybe he whiffed on it because they only used them one time in 4 games.
Yeah. How do you?
I mean, you have I'm over the. I'm over it.
Steelers are a wash. Who we got next week? Buffalo.
Yeah.
Line's probably honestly 14.
That line's gonna be minus. If I could say correctly, probably the guy that puts the most sports bets in here on a daily basis. I would put him at a minus 12. I mean, plus 12.5.
I'd say 13.5.
That's all you're going on?
The NFL doesn't put out huge.
I understand that. I know that. But look, we're talking JV versus varsity here. I mean, even if it was if the Steelers are getting 20.5, I still wouldn't take the Steelers. I think the Bills put up 42 on them, and we might get 7. Honestly,
I'd agree because the Bills didn't they have a kind of lackluster game against the Ravens, so they're probably but still, you have a crappy offensive day. The next week, you're going to be kind of peeved off, and you're going to want to,
Yeah.
Well, they did lose to Miami last week as well, but the heat goes into that and stuff. I mean, they didn't play well at all. They were all cramping up. But
Oh,
yeah, that Bills team is dangerous. And you got Allen and Diggs. Who's going to match up on Diggs?
That's what I'm saying.
Good thing we got Levi Wallace and Cam Sutton to shut that.
Okay, I got the spread. So matchup predictor 84 to 85-15. So 84 predict Bills, obviously. But the line is -13 for Buffalo.
So I put it up.
See, that's still high. Like, I understand that because I've even said in the past, they don't like to make the lines for NFL games double digits ever. But I still think it would be like Alabama playing some MAC school. The line, don't touch it because there ain't enough. You ain't getting enough points.
But this is gonna be the classic game where we're all like, yeah, they're getting blown out, and they somehow keep it close or somehow win. Like that's like a classic Steeler. That's a classic Steeler move right there. Like you don't give them a chance in hell. They rally around it. They somehow keep it close, pull out a win.
Yep.
The people get a little bit excited. The people are gonna get excited, and then it's just gonna be, bam, bam. They're done. They're gonna get
the thing. There's another factor that say Kenny does play, and we want to play for Kenny. Get a little more energy. Kenny's first start. Yeah. So I could see that happen, but I don't see him beating the Bills. There's just the only thing I can see is if they keep it close, like within a touchdown. That's like the ceiling.
I don't even see that because we can't score points on offense. We can't move the ball. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You score 20 against the Jets. You score 17 against the Browns. I'm sorry. I just
Miller's
don't.
looking insane. You have Von Miller coming at you all game against our line.
That defense is good. That defense is elite. I know that they lost half their secondary. I understand that, but
we're not throwing deep balls that are we haven't made a big play in a couple weeks. I haven't seen any big plays today. Didn't see any big plays last week that I can remember.
I'm gonna keep it simple for the podcast here. There's a snowball's chance in hell the Steelers win next week. Carry on.
Exactly. That's it. I'm done with the Steelers. I'm chalking the season. It's chalked.
The season's chalked. Let's move on to some
brighter, funnier topic here.
Let's get the vibes back up with AB doing his best Billy Madison impersonation out in Dubai. And you know what the craziest thing about this whole AB situation is? Like that's like the third craziest thing he's done. Like
no, I think that's the craziest. Even if you say 120 on McKnight Road, throwing patio furniture off his deck, piecing out Jet Stadium.
Yeah, he went full.
Frontal.
Yeah.
Like I saw man's coming out double cheeked up. Like there's people out here, and then he's just.
Does he think like Dubai is like the Badlands where like anything goes? Like I don't know. It's not the wall. This ain't Red Dead Redemption, Antonio. Get it together. Like reel it in, buddy.
He literally lives his life like he's in Grand Theft Auto, and there's just no consequences for anything he does.
You might want to timestamp this because I think I can say this, but Beard said, and I quote, "Did you see AB stroking his shit?" I said, "Yeah." Like what kind? This man needs to be locked away. I'm sorry.
He's got to have advanced CTE at this point. Like there ain't nothing going on upstairs.
Remember that movie Concussion they made?
Yeah.
He's making a strong case for like a sequel, honestly. And he's gonna be the star because Vontae's perfect is gonna be right there with him. Because they're gonna replay that hit over and over again. Because he turned that man's brain into green eggs and ham, and he's never went back since.
No,
I'm sorry.
I mean, he can't be hanging brain in like in a pool. Like brother thought he was on the hub over here or something. I don't know.
You know what he did? He was in a Dubai swimming pool. And he did the I stepped in gum trick.
He's asking anybody if they want some bubble gum. He's hanging brain at a Dubai pool.
Like he didn't. That's not even like that's not all he did there. Like they're confronting him about it. He puts his cheeks right in the lady's face and then chucks her into the pool. Like
who was that lady? If I'm her husband, boyfriend, whatever, I'm beating up the shit out of him. I'm beating the tar out of him. The brakes are getting beat off that dude. I don't give a shit. You put your bare ass next to my girl's face. I don't give a shit who you are.
Listen,
I'm hitting you with every piece of furniture I can find.
that man had to be rattled though. Like you see that, clearly this guy does not care about anything. If that, you come across a guy naked in a pole doing all this lewd stuff, that's not a guy a lot of people are gonna go after. You keep your distance from that guy because he don't give a damn about nothing.
That has Florida man written all over it. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Yeah,
He was
absolutely.
Florida man. He was in Tampa for a while.
He was. Yeah, you're not wrong.
I don't know.
That was just, you see that, you log on to Twitter, you see that headline, and it's like it's surprising, but at the same time, everyone's like, yeah, that's just AB. Like, what are you gonna do?
Like
I
I wasn't surprised.
Yeah.
But like, did he think the rules different in Dubai? Like, is that just going on all the time? Or
No, not
No.
indecent exposure. You wouldn't think somebody could be out there hanging brains, stroking their shit, 5-on-1. You can't do that.
Know, man.
Yeah.
You're bricked up like that. You can't be doing that.
That's just uncalled for.
I don't know.
Just a quick note, real quick. So my stream can still hear me, and Gary said he's losing his shit. Me going off on AB.
EB, put that shit on. He's just dancing like this.
Yeah. And then his Johnson's doing the same thing. It's going back and forth. You know what I mean?
Jesus Christ. Anyways,
Like, how many times will this man escape like serious consequences? Like the what was it? The furniture he threw off and almost hit the lady and her kid. Wasn't her like, is it her husband or her father's like an Israeli commando or something? Like, you don't mess with Israeli, commandos in general. Like, he's got 9 lives at this point. He's flying.
But he's uncancelable. Like, guys, cancel culture can't get him.
Like, if there's ever like a nuclear war, the only 2 things that'll survive, everyone says cockroaches. Antonio Brown would just be hit some
pull back up.
Yeah. You can't take down. You can't stop Antonio Brown. You can only hope to contain him at this point. Like, he's gonna do something crazy next.
But you can't contain him.
What are you gonna do?
He's the Joker. Some people just want to watch the world burn. Honestly,
Do you think he just thinks he's above the law or some shit? You think he's just above everything? Like, you can't do that.
Main character. I don't know.
It's sad when even something shocking for Antonio Brown standards. That's how you know you've crossed the line. Like,
Thing is, I wasn't shocked. I was like,
I was flabbergasted. What do you mean you weren't shocked?
I wasn't, to be honest. The guy just doesn't have it in between the ears, dude.
He was too quiet for a while there.
he's like
something got to give. It's like
he was due.
He plugs something up, and like the top just blows off eventually. And he was quiet for a while, and like you can just feel something coming, and something came. You could feel it coming, and something came.
Pun intended. But that's
just disgusting. At the end of the day, come on.
Is that the like nastiest thing a ex-Pittsburgh athlete has ever done? You think anything that AB's done? You think that's like?
It's pretty bad. Like, Jamal Murray's up there, but he's not a Pittsburgh athlete. Like Jamal Murray a couple years ago on the Instagram Live.
I mean, people forget that Najee Davenport took a dump in some.
Yeah, the dump truck.
Woman's laundry basket in her apartment. So up until AB's latest start, Felipe Vasquez. That guy's just disgusting.
That's just nasty. Yeah, yeah.
That's got to be the worst though. But that's right.
That's actually
that's fair. That's fair.
But I can't say that was the only humor I saw on Saturday night, because that football team we went and saw it's bad.
I went there hoping Pitt would win, but honestly, the Penn State fan in me, I had no feeling of like shame or sadness when they lost. I didn't care.
Listen, I kind of knew the night was chalked whenever I saw Roberts walk in. He got the bucket hat on. He looks at me. I got the Pitt old school riverboat jacket on. At that point, we looked at each other and we're like, yeah, we kind of look like idiots right now. But
I don't, like I said earlier, I mean, this year I haven't tweeted, went public on any social media about how high or low you know what I mean? Like they're below average. Keaton Slovis is below average. There's a reason why he got beat out by the kid that transferred to Ole Miss. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
If Pitt can,
are,
if they
huh?
continue to like falter like this, I would not be surprised. Like we see Roberts in a Dubai pool, like he just goes off the deep. And I wanna-
Hanging brain.
we can't have that for the pod. That would just be some bad press right there.
I mean, you got Virginia Tech next week in home on like a homecoming game. Like
That's a must win.
you got to. I mean, the only positive you saw was the student shutout, rain or shine last night. I guess
Oh,
they left.
no.
They left after the first quarter though.
That was bad. Yeah, I've never seen.
Yeah.
I've never seen such a shameful student section. That they like leaving at halftime. I understand it was rainy, but it was still a close game. You just can't like leave. I don't know. I just feel like it's a lot location too.
It
If
is.
the field was closer, like campus is how far away. But that left a bad taste in my mouth seeing.
Well,
the
the-
students just
They probably
flip
heard
out.
that guy Tequila Cowboy was playing some Skinner deep cuts and had to flock over to hear him. That's probably it, honestly. Yeah.
It was like 1/3 of them, or 2/3 probably just dipped out. I was like, good.
You should have known that night was going to be chalked whenever you didn't see Todd Haley outside Tequila Cowboy. But anywho, to your point about the student section, yeah, it's ridiculous. Look at Iowa; they get blown out every week, but their students are there. Any team where you have a stadium on campus and the kids show out and stuff, you're there. You're a diehard fan. You're there to see the experience, feel the experience, and you're gonna leave first quarter, halftime. You're just a fair weather fan.
See that the difference there is there's a lot more to do like
I was gonna
around
say,
here. Like you're in Iowa, you got nothing to do out there. You either go look at porn or watch football.
To
You don't
go,
have
That's
to go
fair.
watch an Iowa game if you're a fan of the away team, you have to take a plane, obviously. But the plane doesn't land near. You gotta do a 2-hour drive, I think, to the nearest airport to Iowa Stadium. I think it's at least an hour or so.
I don't
It's
think
a drive. I think it's. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I've definitely heard a story on like in the past where it's a decent drive after you land. And also, side note on stadiums, what a joke! Did you guys see Northwestern stadium plans for their
No.
like?
Yeah.
Look at their football stadium plans for their like new field or whatever. It looks like an NFL caliber stadium from the outside. Like for Northwestern, like I'm sorry, but what has Northwestern done that you're gonna get this big stadium? Because your football team isn't any good.
Yeah. Hey, you want to get more people to come to your,
Yeah.
come program, you're going to invest and try and upgrade your facilities and do what you can. So that's probably, they don't, people don't admit that, a lot of the time, but that's what the driving factor is. Like it's hard, if you're Northwestern, it's hard to recruit to begin with. And if your facilities don't stand a chance of matching up to anybody, that's just another part of the recruiting battle. You see that now with every school's doing it, and these lower tier programs are going to start pumping more money into their athletic facilities and stadiums, whatever, just to try and keep up with the blue blood programs.
Is that why
That's
it's
what-
hard? Like, Pitt should get its own stadium before. Like, yeah. Because you got a stadium with an NFL team.
Yep, they committed a cardinal sin when they tore down Fitzgerald's Fieldhouse and put up the Pete, because you took it right out of Oakland. So I mean, it's not Fitzgerald's Fieldhouse. That was the old basketball stadium.
I thought you had a stroke for a second.
But no, when they tore down Pitt's old stadium and they put up the Pete, that's where it was. They committed a cardinal sin, because look at any, and I mean any, Division I school for sporting events. Football brings in more money than all the other sports combined at that university, and that's why Pitt loses out on a lot of recruits, is because of where they're playing and stuff. Kids don't want to play at Heinz Field, Acrisure Stadium. They want to play at Beaver Stadium, the Horseshoe, down in the swamp between the hedges. Pitt doesn't have that, and they lose out on recruits because of it. I guarantee it. And it's tough. It's tough to see kids born and raised in your backyard in the Western Pennsylvania that are top tier athletes go to Ohio State, go to Penn State, go to West Virginia, go down south to Florida because stadium. And that is a deciding factor for a lot of those recruits.
It's all about the environment. You compare if you're a recruit and Pitt, they're playing the backyard brawl again, but the last how many years, what game, like if you're bringing a recruit into Pitt, what game are you going to bring them into? Clemson, Pitt, it's still not going to be a packed house. Penn State, it's a whiteout against Ohio State. I think that's one of the best, if not one of the best atmospheres in college. As a recruit, you're trying to decide. You look at that experience and you're like, I want to play there. Like that's where this is the environment I want to be in, and I'm not trying to like say Pitt's a bad program. That's not like what I'm trying to say here. I'm just saying if you're looking at the environment, Acrisure just doesn't have it.
And you're not wrong. Yeah, I as a diehard Pitt fan, I have been for years, diehard Pitt fan. You are not wrong, and it kind of it pisses me off. You know what I mean? That we don't get our own, whiteouts or what have yous. We don't have a big house. We don't have a horseshoe. We don't have Beaver Stadium. We have a professional football stadium that is a cookie cutter stadium and was one of the cheapest ones built at that time whenever they remade all those stadiums, and they made them all like the same. I can't remember who else got them, but and then the yellow seats don't help Pitt either. You could just tell, well, nobody's at the Pitt game.
Yeah, tough look.
It is.
Yeah, that's all I got for this. What else we got to say? I know we still got to do the Jag of the Week, which I hear, Ryan and I know we have the same one, but according to
I got a
Ryan
wiretap.
Roberts has one.
I'll lead this one off. So we're sitting there at the game last night, and everybody in our section, we got season tickets this year, and everybody's asking where I was at. Of course, I was working last weekend, and so I hear this. The third guy we go with told me that former 19-time Jag of the Week Rio Leonard said,
19.
Where, according to Chris's words, where is Rhode Island? What state is it in? And I couldn't believe it, so I asked. And Mario looks over and goes, that we got to keep that one under wraps, guys. But at this point, Rio, the only positive out of last night from Rio was I saw the biggest smile on his face like it was Christmas morning coming into our section after work with a glizzy filled with ketchup, more ketchup on it than a hot dog, and a ice cold Miller Lite. So Rio, buddy, just embrace this one. Jag of the Week.
What state's Rhode Island in?
What state's Rhode Island in? I couldn't believe it. But
come on, Rio, figure it out.
But that's mine.
Dan, you got one, or you want
me to? I do. So as I said earlier, I'm doing a 24-hour stream, and JB, Jonathan Burtick, popped into my stream, and me and Gary were playing Warzone. He said, it's like, looks like you could use some help. It's like, all right, so he pops into our party. Me and Beard just got a win. First game on, just got a win. I mean, I had like 5 kills. Gary had 4. Or Rando had a couple, So I was like, all right. Beard's like, let's back out. Let's get JB. I'm like, all right. I played with JB before, maybe he could carry a little bit. Because I'm not all there right now. I'm running on fumes. Some bitch drops a goose egg. I'm like, you're talking all that trash, all that smack that you're going to come help us and carry us, and you're going to drop a goose egg. JB, Jag of the Week, dropping a goose egg after talking trash that you're going to come carry.
Sort of takes after his cousin there.
Yes,
but,
100%.
No questions there, but
runs in a family.
All right, so Jag of the Week, here nomination. This is for both me and Andrew because we witnessed this individual, an individual that we do not know, that no one listening to would know. Never knew the guy's name or anything, but we're down at I think Southern Tier. I got the Pump King. It's nice fall little drink, nice beverage. So we go outside. The bar was packed, so there's like this little outdoor patio. We're going out there, and they got tables and benches, like little picnic benches kind of things. And they're all soaking wet, so literally no one's sitting on them because AKA it just rained on them, and who wants to sit on something wet? So this individual comes over. He's a pretty husky fella. He ain't no skin and bone fella, but he sits on this bench and breaks the rules of physics, kind of. So if you're sitting on a bench like this, like kind of like this, where are you sitting it at? Where are you sitting at?
On an end.
That's what he did, but that's not what you're supposed to do. So he sat on the end of the bench. Bench goes like this, and he just absolutely upends himself off the bench. So me being the heroic fella I am, I go up and I'm like trying to help him up. And like he's a bigger dude. He's not like an athlete by any means. He's like shooing me away. Like I'm like, dude, just let me help you. Like he couldn't get up. The guy couldn't get up.
Like a turtle on his back?
He was like a turtle on his back. Yeah. So like eventually got the guy up. But I like, dude, if you're a bigger dude, like you gotta know the laws of physics. You can't be upending yourself on a bench.
What if he was so nervous because, like you said,
It's like this. And it had the little ends
The-
like
the
coming
leg-
out. He sat on
what
the
if-
end coming out.
what if he has sat in the middle and broke it?
Yeah.
You know,
Well,
maybe he's had a past breaking
PTSD.
benches. You know, Devon, get the tables.
Maybe
I mean,
benches aren't
I felt
necessarily
like I felt like such a jerk because it is right out of my periffs. Like Ryan's looking directly. I just see this dude hit the deck. The bench is flying up. It looked like the Titanic sinking. Like one end just goes flying up, and I look. This dude's on his back. He's turtling, and I'm just sitting there laughing. Like I didn't know what to do.
the worst part is it was the hardest I saw someone hit turf all weekend, and I saw 2 football games. And that was the hardest someone hit turf in Pittsburgh this weekend because that patio had turf. That's the hardest someone hit turf.
Jeez.
Yeah, it was a bad look. I mean, that bench literally flew up in the air, and that dude was boom on
If
the ground.
someone was near that bench, it came up with such velocity that MLB StatCast would have had that clocked in at 110. That would have killed somebody if it hit him in the temple, that other end of that bench.
I mean,
I'm not even kidding.
yeah, if there was like a child on the other end of the bench and that dude sat down, that child probably would have been hung to PNC Park. Like that kid would have been gone.
It's like one of those things that like summer camps, those blow up things they put in the middle of the lake, one person
blob.
laying on the other jump.
Yeah.
That's what it would have looked like.
Yeah.
But that's the nominee for Jag of the Week. Do we want to go into random Pittsburgh athlete?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, let's wrap her up.
I got a quick one. Just getting off the top of my head again. I don't know if anyone ever used this one, but Pittsburgh receiver. I think he was like a short, speedy guy. Nate Washington. Is that one someone's used before?
No one's used Nate
Nate
Washington.
Washington. All right, that's came off the top of my head. All right, who's got the
There
next
you go.
one? Roberts.
I got it. I'll go. So yesterday, before I left for the Pitt game yesterday, I saw my dad was still holding out hope for the Pirates over under, which is unfortunately, I hate to
Is it
break it to him, it's
60?
over.
Is it
There's
60?
still a sticky note on the desk beside the on top of the desk, but I was thinking about the Pirates, and I was talking to him yesterday about the pitching staff for next year, and I was thinking of a guy named Tom Gorzolani.
Yeah.
Ooh, as a random Pittsburgh Pirate
Good one.
athlete, everybody blew smoke up his rear end for a couple weeks there, and then it's fizzled out. So, but that's mine, Billy. Sorry. Better luck
What is
next
the
year,
over
Buckeyes.
under for the
64 and a half, and 63 and a half, and they are at
Well, they
59.
only have 4 games left, and they have what 59. So there's no way they could even hit that. To
yes,
begin with.
exactly.
Over.
So,
Take that sticky net down.
it's all right. Go ahead.
Who's
You're there,
next?
Dan.
Yeah, Dan, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. So I'm gonna keep my theme with banger penguins here. My grandmother loved this guy. She actually had a stuffed penguin who would sing, and she would press his flipper, and it would sing and dance every time the Pens scored. And she named it Casper after Darius Kasparaitis. Darius Kasparaitis, and he scored that goal in that overtime, that like 5 overtime game. Nobody expected him to score it. I mean, biggest goal of his career. Darius Kasparaitis.
I was thinking about Kasperitis for today's episode because Penguin season's coming up, but I went totally different one. I'm gonna keep it short, sweet. Marty Straka.
You son of a gun! I was gonna say Marty Straka because I had this. I remember back in the day, you would get, they weren't centerfolds, but out of the newspaper, and it looked like a little poster. I had Marty Straka, Darius Kasparaitis, a couple other, Alexei Kovalev, all hanging on my wall when I was younger. Marty Straka, good, solid.
Oh, actually, here.
Yeah, I
Breaking
say.
news.
Did you just get
Did
that
you see
alert?
it? Paul Christ out of Wisconsin.
Fired.
Also, another side note. I have somebody, I'm not going to mention the name, but we all know who it is in the league. I got a random text saying that they would like a trade, and there might be a trade on the line here from yours truly.
It is. We're discussing fans. Is it your gun for Mahomes?
I am might be doubling down on Patrick Mahomes for Adam Thielen, straight up.
He wanted Javonte Williams off of me for Patrick Mahomes, but he declined it.
And he wanted Amon-Ra St. Brown. I told him no. I offered him Jerry Jeudy or Adam Thielen, and he wants Adam Thielen.
I feel like that's gonna get vetoed by the league. I just feel like that's gonna happen.
That's just a bad trade.
Yeah, that's a horrible trade. No.
But he said let me sleep on it. He said I'll text me tomorrow.
Who's your quarterback?
Tom Brady,
Okay.
the GOAT.
And who's your other one? Marcus Mariota.
Marcus Mariota.
You're doing
Goat.
fine, though. I mean,
Mini goat.
You hold his fate, technically. So.
Yeah, I don't know. That'd be dumb on your part to do that.
You'd have 3 quarterbacks, and you'd have to drop one of them, and then someone would just get
Mariota. I don't need Mariota. I picked him up this week.
But like, the whole point's to not come in last. So like, if you make this trade, you're just making it harder on yourself. Like you just let him burn up one of those guys on his bench every week.
Yeah. Honestly.
Depends if
but I win though. But what if I win though? It makes my team better.
Okay.
You're already in first.
Yeah, that's
Gary's in first.
You don't need, if you're 3-1, you're not making trades.
yeah, that's a dumb move on your part.
If you're
I'm 0-4. You kidding me?
Damn. Not yet.
You should have took him when Javonte
Oh, come
Williams.
on now, Ryan.
Hey, George Kittle puts up 50.
Yeah, if.
Josh Jacobs has like 36 points for the team I'm playing right now, so that's over.
We're not giving him any public more knowledge.
I'm just saying I should be 3-1. I've faced
man.
the top scorers the first 2 weeks in a row, being the second place scorer. Third week I was like top 4 scorer and I lost. I should be 3-0.
The goal's just not coming last. So I mean, I'm gonna ride high, but you know, if I come in last, it's the photo shoot or the tattoo, and honestly, I wouldn't be upset with either of those. So
I'm gonna get a big old thigh piece.
It was me and Dan, I think, right there, and like it was the battle of the 0-3s. I was ready to come on and say, you know what, I'm gonna take it. I'm gonna take it on the chin. I mean, we still could. There's a lot of time left. I've came back and I've came in second place in leagues when I started 0-3, 0-4.
no,
There's a lot of time left.
Hate my team.
I could easily still lose, and if I lose, I'm gonna take it on the chin.
Yeah.
I know some people, I bet they wouldn't do it. But I feel like we'd all keep it honest here if one of us would.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
There's a lot of time left. I think any of us still could lose.
I think that's good for the brand, though. If one of us
It's
lose,
one of us.
honestly,
It's
yeah.
just like a rando, like would it bring them on for a week? You know, it wouldn't be as
Yeah.
fun.
I'll get like the Youngzers logo on my thigh or something, or on my left ass cheek. Right
That'd
one's
be my
already
first
spoken
tattoo,
for.
if I had to get a tattoo.
They hurt. They suck.
Knock on wood.
Hey, I mean, you've been scraping by. You've had a cupcake schedule.
Yeah.
This is your first taste of loss. You know, I think maybe.
Yeah, you catch your first whiff of a loss, and you're trying to trade for a top tier
Are you
quarterback.
on the hot seat? Are you the Mike Tomlin of the league? Are you on the hot seat?
You're a little rattled.
He is
You know
frazzled.
what I do? I just gotta make the winning plays here.
I mean, that trade will never go. I guarantee you, everyone's going to veto that one.
I'll veto the shit out of it,
That's
and I get 4 votes.
Starting quarterback for like a fringe flex player.
Yeah.
You know, that's just
That's-
sus. There's some ulterior.
There's
motive.
collusion going on here.
There's something going
Listen,
on.
I could turn
Yeah.
the text messages over on the camera right now, but
I mean, what we're gonna have to do as
That's
as
just
I'm the commissioner, so we're gonna have to take this to a group chat. We're gonna have to get everybody, we're gonna have to get everybody in one place because I just don't think that's fair trade value. You may have to throw a little more into that trade. That
I'll
feeling.
give you Tom Brady. Go ahead.
Nah, that ain't no. You want
That's a weird straight up trade. It's either this is like a 1 week rental kind of thing that you guys are doing that you're trying to sweep under the rug, or there's something else going on we don't know about. I don't know.
Shaking it up. I'm shaking it up.
it's collusion. That's
There's something that you both are worried, and we got two guys.
Am I worried? Yes, because I looked out on my bench today, and the only player I have to throw in spot for what's his
So
name?
you're worried about your bench, but
Julio
you're trading
Jones.
it. You're worried about receiver depth, but you're trading them one of them away. Is that what you just said?
Yeah.
this
I don't know about that.
this is fish.
Oh, I'm worried about my receiver depth. I'm trading for Patrick Mahomes, and I'm trading away one of my receivers. That doesn't make any sense. There's something going on, and we're gonna get.
I don't have my number one overall picks out. Jonathan Taylor
How's Patrick Mahomes gonna solve that problem? That's not a running back.
put up 40.
Hey, if you want a running back, I got some good running backs on my bench. Everyone's trying to trade me their quarterback.
I need a quarterback.
I'm riding Tua's scrambled brain, and I'm riding Stafford rest of the year. I'm not making trades. My running backs and my receivers can make up for it. I'm loaded in running backs and receivers.
I mean, I'm gonna have to pull. I'm gonna be the most unpopular person because I'm gonna have to put my Roger Goodell hat on here. I'm gonna have to launch an investigation.
Hey, I'm calling it like I see it, man.
I mean, I'm just saying, there's definite collusion here, and
There's some fishy shit going on. There we go. We got one swear a day, one swear an episode. There's fishy shit
I'm just saying,
going on.
I got the first text. That's all I'm saying.
I'm well aware of that. But
Okay, so here's what he tried trading me 2 weeks ago, but he wanted Stafford and Sanders for Mahomes and Pollard. So
This is the exact text I got. This is the last thing before the last thing before we.
Yeah, he is. Yeah,
he's scared.
Mahomes for St. Brown, straight up. ... That's the text I got.
Dan, as deputy commissioner,
yes,
we're gonna have to think about levying some possible punishments.
You know what?
For collusion,
yeah. In chat can hear you guys right now, so you know.
Yeah.
Because Beard's in here, in Beard's watching. So here's my thing. I think he should. If you want to punish him, you take him off him for nothing. You just say, hey, you can't have him. You want to have collusion in this league? We're not going to have it. This is a punishment league, and you're trying to get a leg up on people. We ain't going to have it.
Yeah, that is clear collusion, and yeah, this is going to get ugly. Yeah. I mean, there's no, either way, people are going to be mad at me. But hey, I'm the commissioner, and I got to do what's best for the league.
Here's the thing. So Ryan's going to have to do his own investigation. The other party's going to have to do their own investigation, and then the league's going to have to do their own investigation. It's going to be a whole rigmarole, but it's going to happen. And we're going to have to get to the bottom of this because we can't have collusion going on. We can't have people trying to get a leg up on people because that's just not right. That's not right. Whenever he's going to try to trade me straight up for Javonte Williams for Patrick Mahomes and then immediately take it off and then try to trade Ryan, Tony Pollard, Mahomes
for Sanders and Stafford.
And then he just wants, like you said, a borderline flex player.
Not even
come on now.
Flex on his best day.
I mean, maybe for depth, for like if you got a couple guys out on buys, yeah. But Adam Thielen, come on, he gets what, 3 targets a week? Get out of town.
It's like a Justin Jefferson, Cooper Kupp. All right, those are
okay,
bona fide, studs. Now
but
we have controversy.
We do.
We have a problem right now.
Yeah.
And Dan and I are going to need those text messages, Robert.
Yeah, I'm gonna have.
Hey.
He's deleting them. You know it.
I'm not. Here you go. Right here.
Hillary, his wife emails.
Because here's the thing. I mean, he took them wherever he took them quarterbacks when he wanted to. That was his draft. Now he's hurting on it, and he's eating them. because he told me, "Oh, Russ ain't doing good." I understand that, and I was okay with a trade, like if you want, but not with this collusion stuff,
If
dude.
you're
you go.
looking at it, hey,
Yeah,
I'm not trying to come in first. It's the game of not coming in last. And
You're-
whenever
you're
someone
absolutely
makes a
right.
move like that, where you could have gotten like a RB1 for a lower tier team or a wide receiver 2 that could be a solid flex player, I don't feel bad to watch you leave 20, 25 points on the bench each week. I have no pity.
There it
And
is.
as a fantasy football fan, and as an enjoyer of the league, I'm shocked and disgusted that this behavior is going on.
And
You
we
need to do better.
we have the text messages right here, Dan, and the heaviest punishments have to be on Luke, but Roberts is also colluding on this. So
He is.
Hey.
Yeah.
you're not getting away, Squat. You can put your
You're
hands.
not.
You look like a
Hey.
defensive back.
You
that
can
just-
say laissez-faire all you want.
You know what I'm gonna do? Here's what we're gonna do. Here's the punishment. I'm gonna go on Amazon and buy one of those old time things where you put your head in your arms in, I guess. We're gonna buy tomatoes and we're gonna just throw them at you. Everyone in the league's coming.
I mean, we're gonna have to get everybody in a group chat here. We're gonna have to discuss this collusion because
Hey.
the
It's
ruling's
a
gonna
bad
have,
taste in my mouth. And I just
the
watched the
ruling's gonna have
Steelers lose
to
to the
come from Dan
Jets.
and I. The ruling's coming from Dan and I, but this is this is very worrisome. The integrity of the league is being called into question. It'll make for great content. Don't get me wrong, but
Yeah.
we can't be having this.
No, we can't.
No.
Thoughts, Roberts? Any final defenses?
Hey.
It doesn't matter what you have to say.
Yeah.
To win.
Hey, all I'm saying is you have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in the court of fantasy football law.
Oh yeah.
You have the right to an
Face of a man
attorney.
that
If you
did something
cannot
wrong.
afford one, one will be appointed to you.
That's the face of a man that did something wrong too.
Oh,
Look
yeah.
at him.
I
You
don't
can't
give
even
a
look
shit.
me in the eyes,
Look
bud.
me in the eyes.
No, he's not.
You know what he has the look up
Obvious.
right now? He just
Obvious.
walked into the kitchen and Chris Hansen's sitting there. That's the look Robert's got right there.
That or
He knows he got caught
I
dead
got-
to rights.
he knows
Wow.
Kevin Sullivan's right outside his door.
That's a
I get caught
he
in the
wouldn't be
lights,
allowed
B.
to.
Why don't you have a seat?
I'm just looking right now. I mean, it's looking good now.
All right.
That's all I can say.
All right.
We're
All right,
gonna-
well, is that all we got? Got about an hour and 20 minutes in there. I thought it was be a lot shorter, but we rambled a bit, which is a good thing.
And
Final
we just had a
thoughts?
case of collusion live on the podcast.
Take us
So
to the bottom of this.
yeah, we're gonna have to sit down and talk about this.
Boys just don't want to see the kids winning, you know. Guess we got to build a jungle gym up on top of the hill. So
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening. We'll be back next week with a recap of the Bills Steelers. Penn State doesn't play next week. Pitt, who do they play? Virginia Tech. So like, follow, subscribe, all channels, all Twitter, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook, whatever you. But anyway, episode 11. Thanks for listening. Episode 12 next week. Let's go Steelers, even though they're crap.